I've been thinking a lot about courage recently. I ran across a quote that courage and authenticity go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. And I've been thinking a lot about how do I demonstrate courage to my kids and to my husband, at work, within the St. Columba's community, and worrying about all the things that we have, so many worries and so many unknowns in the face of this global pandemic. And so for inspiration, I turned to the letters that I discovered recently while cleaning out my parents' home. They date from World War I. They were written by my grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side, and they seem particularly applicable in today's crisis. My grandmother, Abigail, was on the front lines working as a nurse at Columbia Hospital in Washington, D.C., and they were courting when my grandfather, Lawrence Brown, went off to France to fight in the Great War as part of the American Expeditionary Forces. He writes, "No longer do I have to take someone else's word for what real conditions on the front line are," my grandfather wrote on August 15, 1918. "Soon after being appointed acting second lieutenant, I had to lead a platoon over the top. I'm back safe without a scratch, but many fine, fearless men who followed me never returned. Nearly all wounded men call for their officers the first thing, and you have no idea how difficult it is to leave them and go ahead with the advance. In some cases, I had to detail men to stay and bandage the more severely wounded. Somehow, after once starting, I never once thought of the danger, but just wanted to keep after the retreating enemy." And my grandmother's letter to him on October 5th, 1918 sounds just like it's something a healthcare worker could have written this week. "My very dearest, it has been an age since I have written to you, but we are just so rushed here now I have very few minutes to call my own. I've been on night duty and am so glad to be off. We have quite a number of ill nurses and one very ill doctor. They are all better now, but it surely kept us on the go for a while. I'm as well and happy as the days are long, and how I am waiting and longing for you to come home. If it were not for my interest in my work, I don't know how I should even stand this separation." Fortunately, he did come home, and eventually they were married in a small church in Vienna, Virginia in October of 1919 and moved to Washington, D.C. to Tunlaw Road, and my mother came just after that. And there are many other letters where they express many more fears and doubts, and you can see the toll that the war takes on my grandfather. But their personalities as I knew them many decades later, when I was a small child, come through clearly in all of them. My grandmother, who took great pride in working very hard at everything she put her hand to, and my grandfather, who was known for his incredible grace and charm, apparently even literally under fire. And so they inspired me. I am proud of them, and I take a lot of courage from what they were able to get through. And so whatever our challenges are today, consider your best attribute, and it will serve you well during this incredible time of challenge, worry, and an unknown future. For me, I am going to double down on my faith in the fundamental kindness of people, and I will strive to remember that we are all coming from a place of good intention, and that taking the time to understand one another will pay off as we get through this together. And so I pray, may God's love for us and all that we are give us the courage and knowledge that we will get through this together. Amen.